Hi, my name is Dabrian, and I am the content and curriculum developer at the Alliance for Decision Education. And I'm joined by Patrick, who is part of our Senior Teacher Fellowship program. And prior to that, he was part of our Incubator Cohort 2 program, where he worked closely with us and his school team to develop this Exploring Decision Making Through Media Literacy course that we'll be demoing for you all today. Him and his team developed this course, and since then, we've worked together to repackage and scale this course for accessibility so that educators nationwide can implement this model into their own classrooms. So I will turn it over to Patrick so he can speak a little bit more about the overview of the course and also the purpose behind it.
Okay, thank you. I'm just going to give a quick, brief context of how the course evolved. First off, the target audience for this course is your typical seventh grade. We designed for about 185 students from a wide group of backgrounds, economic, cultural, and academic. In terms of design, our focus was pretty much on student engagement. So what we looked at is, how do we engage students in a media literacy course that impact their lives while recognizing the development of decision making and media literacy. To get there, what we did is we created a story-based curriculum where students worked in a newsroom. They were tasked with creating a news video on the topic of how digital media was impacting the lives of teens. And from there, what we were able to do is kind of frame this decision education and media literacy together. And I'll turn it back to Dabriana and she can talk about that.
Sure. So, as Patrick mentioned, the foundation of this course was really rooted in that intersection between media literacy and decision education. And as we talk about that, they intersect in pretty powerful ways because they both focus on empowering students to think critically about information. And when we take a look at this newsroom simulation, this is going to be realized in a number of different ways as students make editorial decisions about what they write, as they evaluate different sources' credibility, and consider their audiences and journalistic values when framing their stories, as well as just recognizing how their own cognitive biases might affect reporting. All of that is going to come into play in a number of different ways and more throughout the duration of the course. So this is a little screen grab from the course, but let's just dive right into the resource and I will show you all the teacher toolkit. This is kind of the home base and where all the materials and resources that you will need for your course will be housed in. Here about the course document that just gives you a little bit of background as well as share some course navigation tips. You also have your course overview and scope and sequence that give you some insight into the breakdown of the structure and formatting of the course. And you also have a course at a glance document that gives you a really nice, I'm just going to showcase this visual for how the course is broken down. So as you can see, the course is separated into 4 different units and separated into 3 different phases. So you get a little bit of understanding of which phases are housed in which units, as well as the title of each phase, the questions, the focuses, and hyperlinks. One thing that you'll notice throughout the course are footnotes and hyperlinks, and sometimes even videos embedded in our teacher materials. This is just a little bit of professional development for you all, as there may be some unfamiliar terms related to decision education. So feel free to click on those if you'd want to learn more about decision education and how it relates to what you're teaching. Also want to highlight the implementation plan. This is going to be your day-by-day playbook for how you'll implement this in your class with your students. It's outfitted with objectives, standards, materials, as well as the actual activities that you'll be completing with students and timestamps. And this coincides with our student website, which is accessible from the teacher toolkit as well. So let me just open that up for you. This is what it looks like from the student side. And one thing I like to say is that this really is an immersive experience for students. And one thing that you'll notice is that a lot of the world building is already done for you. Students take on the role of interns at an investigative journalist newsroom, and they have access to meet their team. They have access to learn more about the company. And They are also going to be able to access all of their work tasks that you'll be assigning throughout the duration of the course from this website. So if you go back to the teacher toolkit, um, what you will do is click those three dots and click make a copy so that you have access to edit this yourself. And I will go ahead and turn it back to Patrick so he could kind of talk about his experience implementing this in his classroom. Okay, Patrick, can you speak a little bit about how this actually looked in your classroom?
Sure. I think the key idea here is that each day the student becomes situated as an investigative reporter. The class spends a lot of time, in the first, week of the course building up this idea that you're working in a newsroom, and what your role is and what you're going to be accomplishing. So a lot of that, context building is already taking place. And what I see, is students, understanding that they are an investigative reporter, they have a task, they have decisions to make, and those decisions have choices. So that's kind of the day-to-day thing that I see, kind of very important to implementing this project.
And what about assessment? How did that piece look?
Sure. I think the easy part is at the end. You've got a summative assessment that's really two things. One, the video newscast, and then two, the postmortem activity where they actually reflect on the decisions they made and the outcomes that those decisions actually produced in the newscast. And then on a daily basis, you have these summative assessments. And I think the course does a fairly good job of having a pretty good idea of what the goal is for each class. And, student work is being produced that will allow you to, assess day to day, and then make adjustments for the next class.
When it came to student engagement, can you speak a little bit more to that? Like, did you actually see any changes?
Sure. I think the main thing that drives engagement, at least with seventh graders in today's world, this idea of actually creating a news video. They wanted to be producers. So in order for them to produce, they had to actually create a script. They had to do research. They had to source things. So overall, this idea of completing a news video increased the engagement and ultimately increased, the literacies involved in producing a newscast.
Amazing. Well, that is the demo of the Exploring Media Literacy Through Decision Education course. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at Debrion at the Alliance for Decision Education.org. And if you'd like more media literacy resources, feel free to visit our website, alliancefordecisioneducation.org, and click on the Teach tab, and then select the Decision Education Incubator and Media Literacy to see more models. Okay, thank you all. Bye bye.